Srimati Smriti Irani, Honorable Minister for Textiles, Women and Child Welfare, Ms. Vandana Chauhan, Honorable Member of Rajya Sabha and Convener of the Parliamentary Group of Children, Ms. Hina Gavit, Member of Lok Sabha, Ms. Yasmin Haq, Representative of the UNICEF in India, other members of Parliament, officials of the UNICEF, my dear children, civil society organizations, team of Swaniti Initiative, distinguished guests, and others. Please accept my warm greetings on World Children's Day today. I am very pleased to join you at the Climate Parliament, the children, which aims to facilitate interaction between the parliamentarians and children on the crucial topic of climate change. I appreciate Vandanaji and other members of this parliamentary group for children for this novel initiative. Timing of the event is also very apt as the whole world is battling a pandemic caused by coronavirus and also a number of disruptions in weather pattern. Climate change is a real challenge. We should recognize it and take urgent action to mitigate the negative impact on our lives. We are witnessing an increasing number of extreme weather events such as droughts, floods, cyclones, wildfires. We have been rather reckless in our rush for so-called development. We have ignored the need to preserve and protect nature. Continuous pumping of billions of tons of greenhouse gases since the Industrial Revolution has done a great damage to Earth's environment. As a consequence, we have now to cope with a massive challenge that threatens the very existence of humanity. The very existence of humanity is not a challenge for India, it's a challenge for the entire globe. And the symptoms of it are being felt everywhere. Estimates by the WHO suggest that 250,000 per year are likely to die between 2030 and 50 due to various factors associated with the climate change. What is even more alarming is the fact that the vast majority of these deaths will occur among the younger generation, the children who are more susceptible to illness, injuries, and malnutrition. As per the United Nations Population Fund, there are close to 2 billion children in the age group of 0 to 14, a quarter of the world's population. Those children are one of the largest and most vulnerable groups that will be impacted by climate change. So, in a way, we are putting our future also at grave risk. Various studies have demonstrated that rise in the Earth's temperature will lead to heat stress and vector-borne diseases such as malaria and diarrhea. Changing climate will also threaten world's food security, leading to hunger and malnutrition. Children will be the worst affected. A study by Monash University in Melbourne has predicted that there would be a climate-related stunting, malnutrition, and lower IQ in children within the coming decades. Reduce AC. Climate change and environmental degradation, as well as disasters, also impact the children in many other ways, such as closure of schools, forcing young kids into child labor, emotional and psychological trauma. These conditions would be particularly severe in children living in poor and underserved areas. So, my dear friends and my dear children, when I look back at my childhood and compare it with my grandchildren's, I very often think of how lucky I was. Sure, we did not have the latest gadgets like children these days have. Neither the world at our fingertips via internet. But one thing we had and could rely on was clean air and a healthy environment to grow up in. I am not sure if the kids today are able to grow up in such an environment. I can tell you, to be frank with you, we used to drink water in the ponds, in the rivers, in the rivulets. Today, we are not able to survive without mineral water. My esteemed colleagues present here today would agree with me that India and the world are at a critical juncture. Also, policy makers, leaders, upstanding members of the society, parents and grandparents, it is us who can salvage the dire situation and usher in healthier environment for our children. We cannot allow apathy or inaction to jeopardize our future, our children's future. Climate experts estimate that we merely have only 10 to 12 years to influence the course of climate change before its adverse impacts become irreversible. In a way, the next few years are our only chance of ensuring that our future generations have a chance to lead healthy lives. In this context, my dear colleagues, dear children, I am pleased to note that the Government of India has taken a number of steps to protect the future of our children. Recognizing the climate change is a direct threat to child's ability to survive, grow, and thrive, India has become a signatory to the Paris Climate Agreement and is on track to honor its commitment. Further, during the United Nations Climate Week in New York, in September 2019, our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Bhai Modi committed to a target of 500 gigawatts of renewable energy installations likely by 2030. This is equivalent to 5 times more than India's current installed renewable energy capacity and larger than the size of India's electricity grid size. In 2019, we have 362 gigawatts. But I am confident we'll be able to do it. India's emissions intensity has reduced by 21% over the period between 2005 to 14. Our efforts toward a better future for India and its children are not just ambitious, but also practical. Today, we are on track to not only achieve, but are likely to exceed our non-fossil fuel electricity capacity. I'm glad that these steps are being taken. These are also the kind of initiatives all countries around the world must take. Concerns are growing worldwide about plastic pollution, especially in oceans, where nearly 50% of the single-use plastic products end up killing marine life and entering the human food chain. Our Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi has called upon the people to eradicate single-use plastics from the country by 2022. And we are counting on children to be the change makers. As a developing nation, we have to juggle with multiple priorities, including sustained economic growth for millions of our people, for ensuring we reduce air pollution and protect the people, especially the most vulnerable, from negative impact of climate change. We have to strike the necessary balance. We have to preserve scarce resource and care for the generations to come. On this day, in the year 1959, the United Nations General Assembly adopted the Declaration of the Rights of Children, and this year marks the 71st anniversary of the historic event. Child rights should be interwoven into key national climate change and adoption strategies, policies, and planning documents. It is our response to climate change that needs to include a child-centric approach. And to do this, the best way is through platforms like this. I think the children of today have a far greater access to information than we were as children. The children of today have a sense of urgency and ownership that I have never seen in our previous generations. Through support systems like parents, peers, and their schools, children today are far more involved in the conservation around climate change. The conversation that's going on across will help us. This is a very positive development. The need of the hour is to raise awareness on the important issue of climate change, its impacts and mitigation measures in schools and grassroots level to make our children change agents and transformational leaders of the future. We are seeing if once it catches up with the children, it will catch up with the society. We are seeing Swachh Bharat, how the children, they have become aware of this and they are now trying to bring the change. I'm happy to open the 2020 Climate Parliament with the children and look forward to hearing what our young leaders have to say. I'm keen to hear the perspective on this enormous challenge, what they want to say. Let us together create a new, safer world that caters to the best interest of children in India and balance development with environmental protection. I must commend all of you for coming together for this noble cause of protecting the environment and the future generation. I appreciate the Indian Minister of Women and Child Development, Srimati Smriti Irani, who has been working hard to bring a positive change in the lives of Indian women and children. I also compliment the members of Parliament, particularly Srimati Vandana Chavanji, for constantly raising the issues of children's rights through the Parliamentarians Group for Children. I am pleased that Dr. Yasmin Ali Haq, UNICEF representative, and her team have been actively collaborating with the Government of India in creating a better world for future. As I always say, we must protect the nature. Nature, culture, together for better future. This has to be remembered by everyone. We must be friendly with the nature. And we must follow our culture, our heritage. Our forefathers have given us great civilizational values. We should go back to the roots and follow what they have told us. Technological advancement is okay, but at the same time, the value system should not be allowed to erode. That will reduce really the values in society and create tensions and lessen our attention. So we must always try to be friendly with the nature, cultivate our culture, practice it, propagate it, profess it, and feel proud of our culture. Vasudhaika Kutumbakam. The entire universe is one family. It's not only our, it is everybody's happiness. That is what is required today. It is not comfort alone, it is also happiness. So, my dear young children, I wish that all of you participate in this Children's Parliament, understand the spirit of this campaign, and take it up with your other colleagues. And I wish you all a very, very bright future. I wish you all a very happy World Children's Day. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir.